everyone, and welcome to Sports Talk. I'm Frank Noppenberger, the Supervisor of Athletics and Physical Education for the East Brunswick School District. And today we have three very special guests. They are, first we have Evan Lubcher, who's an outstanding soccer player and our starting point guard for the basketball team. Next we have Amee Chroniewski. Amee's an outstanding field hockey player and softball. And last but certainly not least, our All-American cheerleader for the fall and the winter, and she's also a star in winter track, and that's Tischio. Welcome, guys, and just have fun here. All right, the first question I need to find out is, besides your sports, and we all know you're very involved in sports, what other school or community activities are you involved in? Because there's people out there that want to know about you. They read about you in the paper, and they want to know what else goes on with you. So, who's first? Evan said that he would.
Well, to be honest with you, I really don't have much of a life besides sports, but I do train young kids at the East Brunswick Soccer Club.
Right.
I enjoy it, and that's about it, really.
And you like that dedication to sport. Now, right. Soccer is all year, right?
Right.
So it's, and then basketball, it's when you can...
During the winter.
Right.
I just throw it in.
You did it in the spring and summer also, though, right? Good. Okay, Amee. Now, Amee, you got two unique sports. You got the field hockey and you got the softball. So besides that, what else do you do?
Well, like Evan, my life is basically softball also. I do that all year round. But now I just started tutoring. I tutor 4 times a week. So. You
tutoring what grade?
Freshman.
Freshmen in high school, you're tutoring them softball?
I'm tutoring them math.
Well, you can, he's teaching soccer, right? You can teach soccer. All right, Captain Tischio, besides cheerleading and being thrown up in the air, what else?
Well, I'm not involved in any other school activities, but I used to coach Pop Warner cheerleading squads.
Good.
So that was my little thing.
Okay, now the last group that were in here, because I'm doing a paper on this, I'm doing my doctorate on motivation. I need to know what motivates you as a person, both academically and athletically. And is it just for the honors, or is it for the self-satisfaction? And we'll pick on Christine first.
Well, for sports, I always want to do my best just because when in track, when I finish a race, it just feels so great to finish it and be happy with your time. And with school, it's the same thing. It's just with grades. You want to get good grades so then you could go to college, get good education there, and do what you want after that. So.
Would you rather get an A, this is a tough one, an A in your history class, or win the GMCs in the mile?
I'd have to say win GMCs.
Okay. All right. All right, Amee, how about you?
Motivates me is just to do well in both school and in sports. It feels good to be on top, whether it's to get an A or to win a big game. It feels good.
Does one feel better than the other?
One of sports.
Yeah. Amee, tough question for you. You can bat 600, be all-state, and win a scholarship to UCLA, or your team can win a state championship.
I'd definitely win the state championship.
Good. That's always a tough question, because a lot of kids, they want that individual accomplishment, but, sometimes they forget what they're there for.
Team.
All right. Your answer's got to be the best, Evan.
Well, what motivates me is that I want to be the best in whatever I do. So I push myself hard, and I want my team to do well. And I want my team to come out on top at the end, too.
All right. And if I asked you the question about team versus individual?
Team, definitely.
All right. Okay, just to break the ice and cool things off, if you could meet anyone in the world, past, present, or future, who would you want to meet and why? Anyone that you'd like to meet. Okay, we're going to pick on you, Amee, because you were looking away. It's like in school when the kid puts their head down, the teacher picks on you?
I think I'd want to meet Derek Jeter. He's always been one of my favorite athletes. He's so good at what he does. And
you ever read his book?
I have it at home, but I haven't gotten a
I'm
chance
telling
to
you,
read
the
it.
first chapter is absolutely the best. Well, he talks in there about taking chances and go after your goal. Don't let anyone tell you you can't do it. He wanted to play for the Yankees since he's a little kid, and everyone kind of snickered at him, and he said, nope, that's my goal, and that's the way I want to be. And he talks in there about taking a last shot, Evan, at a hoop game, a three-pointer that didn't go in, and you know, he says, don't be afraid to take the last shot, you know. But it's a great book. Evan?
I'm gonna have to say Michael Jordan, because he's one of the hardest workers I've ever read about, and he wouldn't let anything stand in his way.
Yeah, he's, in my opinion, I'd like to meet him too. I'd like to know what makes him tick, what motivates him, you know. Tish?
Well, I'd say if I had to pick one person, it'd probably be Marion Jones, because she's an amazing runner. But just any Olympic runner, I just would want to meet them to know like what they're feeling when they're running. Because I know sometimes when I'm running a race, I don't want to run particularly, or like things get me down. But I just want to know like how their whole lives is based on like one race, and like I just think it's great that they spend so much time, like to be amazing is like as good as they are.
Right.
So.
Two things for you. You run the 2 mile also? Or the
I mostly run the
3,200.
mile.
I didn't mean to say mile. 3,200.
Yeah, the 16 and the 8 mostly.
Okay. When you're running the 16, what are you thinking about as you're going around four times?
Yeah, each lap. Well, at first the first lap is mainly to get out and make sure that you're in a good spot. You don't want to get stuck behind. And the next laps, you just want to keep your pace. Then as the third lap comes around, that's when you have to kick, because that's when everybody's dying. So that's,
But I want to know what's going through your mind.
Yeah, all
I mean,
right.
are you thinking about what am I doing tonight for homework? Are you thinking about form and technique and breathing?
usually I'm thinking about breathing, because I don't want to start breathing really heavy. And then, because then once you start breathing heavy, you think that you're tired. And when you think you're tired, you won't finish as well. So usually what I think is that this is easy. I only have so much left. Even if it's right after we get out and we did 50 meters, I still think, oh, I only have so much more laps to go. Just to keep, even if it's so much, I just say that it's only this much, only 2 more laps. You know, I do this all the time in practice. It's easy. I try to keep
psych
myself
yourself up.
as motivated as I can so I can finish strong.
Right. Now, Amy, you play first base, right? A lot of downtime in softball, not as much as in baseball. You're at first base. How do you maintain your concentration, and what are you thinking about? Do you find yourself daydreaming, or?
I focus extremely well. Like, I'm always focusing on something, whether it be the pitcher or the batter or where the ball is. Like, I'm always just focusing and looking around, because I know that I don't want to make a mistake
Right.
to cost my team anything. So.
Fear of failure. Do you think your concentration level is the same when you're in the field as when you're at bat? Because we know you bat probably 450, and so we know you can smack the ball.
I think at bat, my concentration might be a little bit higher, just because I know, like, I like the self-satisfaction of, like, doing extremely well, like, at bat. But I wouldn't say it's that much different than when in the field.
Right. Now, Evan, I watched you play last night. You did a heck of a job last night. In soccer and basketball, everything's is a quick reaction. You don't have time to be thinking about, well, here comes the ball or here comes the defender. So everything, do you agree it's more of a reaction out there?
Yeah.
What do you think about when you're on the bench or when you're resting there or on the foul line?
How can I go in there and make my team better? How can I improve the game?
Now you're at the foul line and it's 2 seconds to go and you're making that, you got to shoot the one-on-one. What goes through your mind as you're shooting that?
Well, I'm nervous. I'm definitely nervous, but when you're shooting a foul shot, you just want to stick to your same routine and try to block everything out.
Yeah, speaking of blocking it out, when you're getting thrown, Christine, up in the air, I'm coming back to you. Do you hear the crowd?
Sometimes, well, not so much. It gets quieter. You still hear it a little bit, but you concentrate on, so you hit the actual toss on the right words. So you hear the cheerleaders, and you hear, you don't even hear. They're also very quiet because you start thinking there's different steps sort of. So you think of those, and it kind of drowns out all the cheering, both the cheerleaders and the fans.
All right, Evan, so what are you thinking about when you're at that foul line? Are you looking over the front of the rim, technique, or does it just come naturally?
It's just you gotta stick to your routine. Then you just gotta remember the technique and just shoot it up.
Yeah.
You gotta look over the front rim.
Yeah, that's all right. Amy, you're at bat. Oh, by the way, Evan, when you're out there on the court, do you hear your dad at all?
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
Amy, when you're at bat, do you hear anyone else? Do you hear Coach Brady, or do you just like stay so focused?
Before I get into the box, it's normally loud, but once I get into the box, I'm extremely focused, and I usually don't hear anything.
Right.
But
It's interesting, because I think, you know, when you're concentrating, you hear it, but it doesn't register with you. I think that's what, when you ever read anything about Greg Nettles, who played third base for the Yanks, he said everything's about concentration, anticipating the ball coming to me or whatever. Okay, now we've got young kids out there. What would you tell them, Amy, about concentrating on one sport, specialize in one sport, or spreading yourself out and do 3 sports? Because I'm sure you could have played basketball too.
well, I do 2 sports, and I love both of them like dearly. And I would tell them definitely to try more than one sport. Whether it's hard to like manage time and like, but it keeps me active and I like being active all the time. So I tell them to try more than one sport.
Evan?
I say when you're younger, try every sport, see which ones you like the most. But as you grow older, pick 1 or 2 sports to concentrate through high school.
When do you pick that concentration?
I'd say before 8th grade, so you know which school sports to try out for.
You think that late, huh?
Yeah.
If you had a chance to scholarship in soccer, would you give up everything? Not that you don't have a chance. I mean, what made you to stay with basketball and not just go 100% to soccer?
I enjoy playing basketball. It's a lot of fun.
Right.
I like playing with the kids on my team, and it's a competitive sport.
Right. Well, you're a team sport guy. Good. Christine, you're one of the unique ones. You got cheerleading. Now, you guys don't do a lot of stuff off season, but practice, you go 2 hours a day, sometimes longer.
Yeah.
And in the summer, she has you go double sessions.
And
Remember
camp.
that in the summer. Then you have camp. And then with the off season with track, you do some running. But so what would you tell the young kids? Because you're an example that you can be a cheerleader and be a runner or an athlete.
I would say do, like Evan said, do as many as you can when you're young, and whichever sports, you'll figure it out when you're young which ones you want to stick to. So I don't think there's really like a set age you should pick, like when you should decide what sports you want to play. If there's a few that you like, stay with them as many as you can. And I think it's really important to do a lot of different sports because you meet completely different people.
Right.
And that's what I like so much about doing track and cheerleading.
So, speaking of meeting different people, you've all been influenced by someone because you're all unique people, different sports. Who has influenced you the most in your life? As a student or an athlete or both? Amy?
I'd say friends and family influence me a lot, like different people on different sports teams and like
no one particular person. No, that's good. That's very diplomatic. We're going to keep Evan for last, Christine.
Well, I think Mr. McAvoy actually has inspired me a lot because freshman year I came out for track and I was so nervous and he was so mean and it scared me so bad. But
Wait a minute. He was mean?
he's loud and it scared me. So
You ever hear the expression, the bark is
it's bigger than their bite, right?
That's
So
Mr. Mac's off.
that's Mr. Mac. But I wanted to run so badly that it just like his attitude, the way he coached, it just pushed me to try even harder. So I'd say that it was definitely Mr. Mac has had a very big inspiration.
That's nice. Evan?
Well, my family's definitely motivated me, but one person that has really motivated me is Danny Miller. I've never seen a person work as hard as he has. See where
Yeah, I
he is.
agree. I remember seeing him all the time. We'd come up early in the morning to
Start
play
lifting.
hoops. He'd be lifting, or you go by later. He'd be out in the fields running and sprinting. Yeah, very motivated. That's good. College. There's no rhyme or reason here. Your college. What are you thinking? What would you like to major in? Would you like to play sports? Evan?
Right now, I'm looking to play soccer at Rider University. I went on an official visit this weekend. I liked it a lot.
Good.
My major, I'm thinking about business management.
Good. Any other schools or? Yep.
I'm also looking at William Patterson and Drew University.
And the softball star?
I decided not to play softball in college. I might still do a club team just because I'll probably miss
Yeah, you
all
will.
the action, so I'll probably do that. But I'm waiting to hear from the University of Delaware, but it's between there and Penn State.
Penn State, University of Delaware. What's wrong with New Jersey? Come on, Amy. All right, Miss Tischio.
Well, right now I'm in between Montclair and William Patterson. I'm hoping to be an art education major. So I've been talking to the track coach at William Patterson. So I'm not sure if I want to do cheerleading or track, or if there's a possible way to do both or do none at all.
Yeah.
Not sure about
Well, you have all the choices.
Yeah.
That's good.
So, well, I'm still talking to the coaches, and I have to go in for interviews. So I guess I'll see if I like the team and the atmosphere when I visit.
Good. Amy, did I miss your area concentration in college?
I'm undecided,
Undecided?
as of right now. Yeah.
That's okay. All right. In a few months, how many months you got? How many days left in school? Come on. I know you guys count them down. You're going to be graduating. And you're going to, 3 or 4 years, you're going to come back and little Nops or someone's going to see it and they go, oh man, I remember Tischio. How are you going to want to be remembered by these little 5th and 6th graders? Did you go down one of the elementary schools?
Oh, I was
In the fall?
supposed to, but I,
That's all right. We don't want
yeah.
Okay. So how do you want to be remembered?
Well, I really want to be remembered as like hardworking, very motivated. I always try my best. I just hope that people around me realize that I always try to keep other people motivated as well as myself.
Me?
I like to be remembered as someone who always tried their hardest and always put their heart into every single game that they played.
Good. Evan?
I'd like to be remembered as a hard worker and a good leader.
Oh, I think you are. I think you are. I'm going to come back to this in a minute. If you have a question for Mr. Noppenberger, I'm going to come back and then I'm going to ask you one more question, and then you come back and ask me one about anything, almost anything. Okay. The Super Bowl. See, this was supposed to be before the Super Bowl. I was going to ask you your Super Bowl pick and why, but since the snow came, I'm going to ask you, did your team win, and what did you do for the Super Bowl?
Me, I didn't do anything. I stayed home with my mom, and we watched it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it was okay.
Did your team win?
No, I was rooting. I can't even remember the team.
That's
Wow.
Carolina.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. But I did nothing big. Just kind of sat
Amy?
around.
Well, a group of friends got together and we went to the Mariano's house for their Super Bowl party. And the team that I was rooting for was the underdogs, Carolina Panthers, but they ended up losing. So.
Did you win any money?
Nope.
Did you?
Nope.
All right, Evan.
Well, my team won. I was rooting for the Patriots, and I went over to Tommy Wagonblast's house. He had a couple guys over, and we watched.
And did you win any money?
Nah.
No? I heard there was some gambling going on over there. Okay. You got a question for Mr. Knopp? Anybody?
How'd you get to be the athletic director?
Oh, jeez, I didn't know you were going to go that way. Well, I got out of college, got a job up in North Jersey, came to East Brunswick in '77, coached basketball, football, taught phys ed, later on became head basketball coach, kept going to school, masters, the AD position opened up, This is a Evelyn Wood version. And I applied, and lucky enough I got it. I guess I've been doing it like 16, 17 years. It's a little different than the classroom. What you miss is this interaction with the kids. You know, when you're not in the classroom like your teachers every day, you don't get to talk to the kids, and you don't get to see them as much and get to know them. That's what I miss the most. No questions?
Did you play any sports in college?
Yes, I was on the football team. I didn't think we were going that way, but yeah, I went to Westchester. You don't have to ask my name.
Oh, I was going to ask the same question, but what position did you play?
I was a receiver, a wide receiver. I thought you guys were going to ask about the athletic program or the phys ed program or something. Okay, in 10 years, Tish, what do you see yourself being, doing?
Well, hopefully I'll be an art teacher. I'm not sure where I want to teach or anything. Possibly coaching. I really enjoyed coaching cheerleading, and I'd really like to coach track too. But hopefully at the high school level, I want to be an art teacher for high school.
Would you come back to EB?
I'd consider it. Yeah.
Good. Evan?
10 years.
Who are you going to be tomorrow, Evan?
I can see myself maybe working with my dad in his business.
Oh.
But I'd also like to coach soccer as well for a club team or possibly high school.
Good. Soccer more than basketball?
Yeah.
Aim?
Hopefully I'll have a successful career and be settled down in 10 years.
What's settled down mean?
A house, a family.
Oh, okay.
But I'd also like to get back into softball coaching beginners level to teach them all that I've learned.
Yeah, you got to give something back, and you've all alluded to that. That's good. I asked this question last time, and they all pretty much had the same answer. If you could not be good or excellent in the sport you participate in, which sport would you like to be excellent in? Amy?
Probably soccer, just because I'm probably one of the only people in East Brunswick who's never played soccer before.
That was one of my questions. One of my questions was going to be, what got you turned on to field hockey?
I wanted to do a fall sport because I didn't play soccer, and a couple of my friends who were older had convinced me to come try out for the team because I originally wasn't going to do it, but I decided just to give it a try. So.
Well, you would have been a great soccer player. Young lady?
What got me motivated?
No, we're not unmotivated.
Well, you just asked her. I didn't know.
Okay, no, what we're on is if you weren't an outstanding cheerleader or runner, what would you be? What would you want to be?
I'd want to play basketball. I used to play basketball all the time with my brother when we were little in the driveway. And I used to practice all the time at SAC after school thing. And I still enjoy it. I can't with cheerleading.
Yeah,
so.
Do you understand the game?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I got it.
Why don't you help Coach Whalen or Coach...
I will. I'll give her
next
some
time you
pointers.
could- yeah, or Coach Henning. Evan, all right, well, basketball and soccer are out. All right, my prediction is you should have been the defensive back, running back.
I actually played tennis when I was younger.
Oh,
for
that's
about
right, I remember
8
that.
years.
Yeah.
I went
So
to tournaments and stuff.
It would have been tennis?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's grueling. That's very grueling. Okay, guys, we're just about out of time. I got one more question. For the one message to the young kids out there, because I want them to be motivated. I want them to say, I want to be like Tish. One quick message for the young kids out there.
I would say don't give up. If someone or something is in your way, just keep going to achieve your goals.
I tell them never to let anyone tell them that they can't do something. Just to keep working hard, and eventually they'll reach their goals.
I'd say don't be intimidated and get some earplugs so you can drown out your parents and all the other fans.
We got a couple of minutes. That's interesting. And I'm not saying your parents do, but I see your mom at the games all the time. She just sits there, very nice, doesn't say anything. What do you say to your parents because I know what I hear when I go home. What do you say to your parents if they're saying something off base or obnoxious?
I just ask her to try to keep quiet.
You say it that nicely?
I try to.
Yeah, do you ever say during the event, say, Mom,
sometimes just give her a weird look, and
look?
she knows.
How about when you're running, Tish?
Well, my dad yells for me. Mostly, it's Mac that I hear. Really, it's Mac and Murray. But when my parents yell, they're just saying like "Go, Christine." They don't really say anything obnoxious or anything like that.
It's hard to hear the Coach Henning or Mr. Hastings sometimes. So all I hear is my dad yelling. Really.
No,
I'm
no,
joking.
but
It's not. He toned down a lot over the years, but you know, he only yells out good stuff.
yeah.
So it's all
No,
right.
he does. But it's tough. It's tough being an athlete, and you know when you're in a sport that everything's right there on top of you. You know, you hear your mom yelling, and the kids and your friends. Okay, real quick, highlight of your career as we sit right now. I'm not counting what's going to happen tomorrow or whatever. Highlight of your career.
I would say probably.
It could be academics too.
Oh, well, it's track. When I ran my fastest time in the mile at GMC individuals last year,
And what was that time?
5:31,
You gonna beat that this year?
definitely.
Yeah, good. Aim?
I'd have to say my field hockey career was when I stopped a goal in double overtime for us to win the GMC.
It's my favorite story. I remember that. You came across the goal, mouth of the goal, right? That was your sophomore
That was
year?
my sophomore year.
Yep, I'll never forget that. You came out of nowhere. It was so great.
I'd say soccer being one of the top teams in the state this year was a nice thing.
Yeah, you guys were good. You're one of the best ever, boy. Very focused. Okay, guys, well, I thank you for joining us. I enjoyed watching you during your career. We got softball yet left. We got track left. Maybe tennis. Got a shot? No? No. But I did enjoy watching you. Best of luck in your future. And if me or any of the coaches can ever help you, just give us a holler. Okay? With that being said, this is Frank Noppenberger. Thank you, and have a good evening.